show do that in the first place? Welcome, Schmelcom. I'm Winnie. This is Winnie on Screen. I didn't realize how much of a cult following Totally Spies had. And then I saw that they brought it back for a new season, and I'm like, when did we ask for this? But it's here, and we gonna talk about it. Totally Spies aired in 2001, and it has 7 seasons. The 7th season came out very recently. But this cartoon is about 3 teenage international spies who reside in Beverly Hills: Alex, Clover, and Sam. Totally Spies was part of that trope of dope female trios in cartoons and movies. It was a French animated series, much like Code Lyoko or Martin Mystery or Cornel and Bernie. I do plan on making a video about Code Lyoko because that was my I love Code Lyoko. I want to cosplay as Odd. The thing that got me interested in the show was the anime influence that it had. They would use certain tropes and traits throughout the show. So it wasn't like a full anime or anything like that. It just used certain traits that gave it that anime vibe. Sam was the bookworm and leader of the group. Clover was the headstrong. She was super obsessed with fashion and boys. And Alex, who was my favorite, was the goofy, clumsy one, tomboy personality. But they kind of made her an airhead too. Was the blonde white girl from Beverly Hills too on the nose to play an airhead? Since this show came out during the late 90s and early 2000s, there was this weird trope of if you were a boy and you liked something that was targeted to girls, you had to keep it a secret for some reason. I did grow up around some boys where you had to pretend like you weren't into NSYNC or B2K or High School Musical, you know? Think Tyler from the movie Turning Red. That's the era I grew up in. Luckily, most of my guy friends when I was a kid were secure enough and mature enough to accept the fact that, hey, I like Powerpuff Girls too. But I do remember being in those really toxic boy crowds that made you seem like you were gay or whatever because you like female characters. To this day, I will never understand the logic of thinking a boy was gay because he liked girls. You see that same logic today with these male podcasts. They think you're gay for liking anything that looks remotely feminine, even though it's those feminine things that would catch the woman's eye first and not the flashy shit that only guys gravitate to the most. But this isn't about closeted alpha male podcasters. Let's get to the show. As I rewatched this, it took me back to a simpler time where I get off of school, I go straight home, do a little bit of homework, and then I have it on in the background. Because honestly, as much as I did enjoy the show, I think I had it on in the background mostly. I also remember turning my head repeatedly hold on, it's kind of tough. What's going on? What they up to? Totally Spies was just Charlie's Angels for kids. And they're international spies, so they're handling Kim Possible levels of evil. They've dealt with time travel. They've dealt with people turning citizens into animaics. They even had a Hunger Games type episode. They've been through a lot of shit. Every villain was so different, but they all had that same goofy vibe, like a James Bond villain. They would trap the girls and then tell them every single excruciating detail of their evil plan before the girls end up stopping them anyway. And their motives were very petty and vengeful and a bit over the top for what they were trying to get out of it. It made me look at Doofenshmirtz a lot differently. Even he wasn't this excessive. Also, I'm going to say this right now. You can agree with it or not. Kim Possible can solo all 3 of them hand to hand. One of their biggest arch rivals is this chick named Mandy. They go to the same high school. And she's one of the biggest haters in cartoon history, especially towards Clover. The easiest comparison is Mandy is just Princess Morbucks from Powerpuff Girls. She is obsessed with trying to be like the spies and be better than them. There's an episode where Mandy accidentally falls into Whoop Agency and Jerry decides to make her an agent off that alone. What? What? She would make a good agent because the door was unlocked? What are we doing? And now her ego is through the roof. She's wasting all the girls' time. But at the end of the episode, they do erase her memory, so she doesn't even remember being an agent. But her memory does come back in season 7. She knows the girls are spies, and she wants to be back in the Whoop agency. Also, Jerry was hilarious because he would find the most over-the-top ways to bring the spies in.
Not so fast.
They had to stay on their toes because the way Jerry would just throw them into the agency with no warning, it was so funny. If you remember the show Metabots, it was like the referee. The referee in Metabots would appear at any place at any time to be the official for a meta battle. Like no matter where he was, like he would appear from the oceans or parachute down or just hop out of your fucking couch. That's the same vibe that Jerry would give whenever he installed like certain traps or stuff to like bring them in to the agency so they can start their missions. It was crazy. If you watched it, you were a real one. If you didn't watch it, I can't say you missed out on anything per se. I would just say there's a much different connection that you probably won't understand with other people because they remember the show and you just didn't. Now we get into the new season. This not so much a remake, it's a continuation. But the animation has been updated and the girls have a more sharper look. Jerry is no longer in charge of the Totally Spies. He gave the position to his daughter, Zerina, who, by the way, how you doing? Another new character is Toby. Toby is in charge of making all the gadgets for the girls. He's very dorky, super smart, very funny guy, and his personality is a mixture of all the girls combined. Kind of like Brittany, who, by the way, is in the works of coming back in this renewal. And the suits get a major upgrade. Like they need to call that boy Toby Stark because he went in on these suits. They have GPS now. They also have drones in the backpacks. And I think there's like nanotech because he was like instantly able to place them on their bodies. It was really dope. And they no longer live in LA. They now reside in Singapore. Aw, you want attention? Is that it? You want attention? You had, oh, hey buddy. Speak to the people. I like that they brought back the cartoon because Totally Spies' personalities and aesthetics, it works very well in today's modern society, especially with Clover trying to be an influencer on the side while she's handling all these international missions. Oh my God. You do not want me to get some work done. Oh my God. And while there's this like very obvious blip of distance that the show aired versus now, they are trying their best to like trying to close that gap. And because it's been gone for so long, there are some, pop culture references that they're going to be late to or try to keep up with. They had Jerry hit the dab, but the joke was he's so old that the spies have to remind him nobody does it anymore. They did get greenlit for an 8th season. Much like the Rugrats or the Proud Family renewal, I'm just interested to see how the new generation appreciates it versus how I appreciated these shows growing up. If I were to rate the renewed Totally Spies on a scale of 1 to 10, I would say Kim Possible can solo all 3 of them. But as always, thank you so much for watching. I love doing this for y'all. I really do. I love recording and making these fun little nostalgic videos for y'all and posting them on the weekends. And for anybody that's curious, you probably are wondering why I'm always using inanimate objects as mics and not just a regular goddamn mic. It's because I like to use certain objects that relate to the theme of the video. So the very first video I did was about Kids Next Door. So I used a rainbow monkey as the mic. I'm talking about Totally Spies, so I'm using nail polish remover because it relates to the things that the girls were into, like getting their nails done. Wait till you see what I'm going to use as a microphone when I talk about SpongeBob. As a matter of fact, leave a comment. Leave a comment because I want y'all to guess. I want y'all to guess what the inanimate object is that I will use as a microphone for SpongeBob. And I'm grateful for every new subscriber that shows up. Like, it really means a lot. Y'all have no idea. Don't be afraid to leave a comment for any shows you want me to review or talk about. You can also go to my DMs on Instagram or TikTok. And I'm still interested in checking out the Totally Spies video game, just to see what that's about. And I'll let y'all know how I feel about that. But anyways, I'm Winnie. This is Winnie on Screen. Thanks for tuning in so we can tune out.